Welcome to Rome. Is this a formal event or a social affair?
Social.
How many buttons?
2.
And what style?
Tactical. Mr. Wick, do enjoy your party.
One of the things I'm curious about, jumping back into the world of John Wick, is just nailing the right tone, getting the...
It's great to hear.
There's a level of humor, but also extreme violence, and the fact that they combine in the way they do is really impressive. I'm wondering what it's like on the other side of that.
Well, it's a consideration, and it's something that Chad Stahelski, the director, that's his vision. You know, the tone of the film. I think the filmmakers on the first one made the tone, and I think Chad has continued it and developed it. There's more humor. The action is a little... The set pieces are a lot different. I mean, the first one has that as well, but now there's like the mirror room, the catacombs, the pencil fight, the subway fight. The tone of the humor, the meta world, the hyper world, the assassin world, I think it's special, and it's the, you know, what is it? You can smell when it's not, and but you don't know. You're making a meal, and you're hoping that people like it.
Tell me a little about what it's like to just act with a look.
I guess it's like an internal, like, what is your intention in that scene and what are you thinking? And Chad, the director, was great at that because, you know, we had to shoot some things out of sequence based on locations, and sometimes, like, you'd be reading the script, but we would change things a lot as well that were on the script that we would change, and he'd be like, just a reminder, like, this is what just happened, and this is how you reacted, or, and you'd be like, that's right, that little why I oughta, and so then you kind of can get straight back into that zone, and doing things like, especially me, only having the sign language and my facial expressions, I actually realized how much power comes out of that. That can hurt and cut through way more than what people can say.
He's a fascinating character too because he's such a cool guy, and yet you don't really want to be him.
Well, he's having some hard days, you know, and he wants to. But I think he's relatable, right? I mean, the loss of his wife and just wanting to be left alone, and I don't know. He's vulnerable. He's getting beat up. He's hit by cars, thrown through windows. He's losing fights, he's getting shot, he's getting stabbed, but he just keeps coming, you know, the will and trying to dust himself and get back up. So I get why you don't want to be him. He's having some rough days.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when we say words, we have something inside of us that we're really saying anyway. And there's so many moments in our lives that we're silent and we're thinking things and saying things. And even like for me to learn a new language, of Italian and just have to deliver that, it was like, okay, I'm learning these words, but I still have to know what I'm saying and have that intention. So it was always, for me, I grow on each project just because of the experiences. And this was, you know, I love being silent sometimes and saying what I need to say with my eyes and my spirit.
Both of these characters also have this sense of like, they don't have their own franchises, but they feel like they might as well. They may have been through 7 other adventures before getting to this point.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like Cassian and Ares is like they, and John Wick, it's like they all like are in the same universe and orbit and level of being assassins. And you're right, the history is there. You know, we wouldn't be the ones that's sent to get or be going after John Wick if we didn't have that level of skill. Like, you know, we're the heads of this thing. So, like, I think, you know, even from the relationship that you see, none of us really were like, man, I'm just hate you and I'm gonna destroy you. But once the lines were crossed, it was like, it's time to take you out. So I felt like that in itself showed that we all came from this history of being assassins and may have worked together at some point or another.
We did the what would happen if there was another chapter? What would happen next? So we played that game. We played on the first one, not knowing or expecting to do a second one, just because we love the characters in the world so much, and we did it on the second one. But if we get a chance to continue the story, that would be awesome. And it's really up to the audience in Lionsgate to
And I think, you know, Aries is really young to be doing what she's doing, and you do, like, I did question a lot with Chad, like, where did she come from? What was her family like, and how did she end up here? Because as you can tell with John Wick wanting to get out, it's not an easy thing to get out. So what do we do as assassins to get ourselves in that position? Like, are we desperate? Do we need help, you know, somehow, and that's how we end up there owing someone, or do we choose it? And why are we all still in there? Or do we enjoy it? You know, and each one of us had to make that decision.
If you could have John Wick face off against any fictional character, what would make the best fight?
Oh, fight. John Wick, like a kind of like a super MMA or boxing match, like watching that. I don't have one. Do you have one?
I would like to see him fight just about anyone.
Yeah.
I want to see him fight Dracula. Like.
Oh, wow. But he doesn't have, I don't have superpowers. So these cats that have all these superpowers and like devices and gimmicks, man.
You have force of will.
Well, I'll go down swinging.
John Wick. You're not very good at retiring.
I'm working on it.